And what a perfect way to get things started here on semifinal night from Pete Matthews Coliseum on the campus of Jacksonville State University, as we are here live for our coverage of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament here on TV 24. Mickey Shadricks and TV 24 Sports Director Gerhard Mathangani with you to get things started tonight. And we'll be with you for the first game, which is our girls semifinal matchup between the defending county champs, the Anniston Lady Bulldogs, and the fourth-seeded Piedmont Bulldogs. Starting lineups being introduced right now. Gerhard, we're going to get to the action in just a moment, but the big story this week has been the weather. We've had 3 different delays, but we're finally back in action. We got in action on Friday night with games at 2 different locations.
Right.
Tonight on Saturday is normally the championship games, but it's the semifinal games, and then Monday night we'll be back here for the championship.
Hard to believe this whole thing started a week ago today, and we're now in the semifinal round. But yes, thankfully yesterday there were 8 games on the schedule. What they did was they put 4 games at Oxford High School, 4 games here, got caught back up because 2 days off. And really the weather has a lot to do with everything. Has a lot to do with the venues, but also these players. They haven't played basketball in forever because they were sitting at home waiting for the ice to thaw.
Oxford, of course, the host school, which is why they shared the action on Friday night. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups for our first girls semifinal matchup today. And there you see for the Piedmont Bulldogs, we mentioned they're the 4th seed. They got here with a win over Alexandria 62-60, and they're a very young team with Kaylee Kirk, Caitlin Ridley, Pinky Nation, Cameron Logan, and Sydney Prater. Meanwhile, for the Anniston Bulldogs, a senior-laden team, a very experienced team, and Amoria Dudley, Montega Clemens, Jordan Johnson, Takaya Jackson, and Tanaya Foster. The Anniston Bulldogs picked up a win over Weaver to get to the semifinal round, a final score of 78-25, a suffocating defensive effort by the Bulldogs, which is kind of who they are. And this is a very, very good Anniston team this year, especially defensively, so Piedmont's going to have their hands full tonight.
Yeah, held a very, very good team yesterday in Weaver to just 25 points, scored 78. This is a team that knows how to play offense, but they make basically their money, they make their name, their reputation from that defensive side of the ball.
All right, we're about ready to tip it off. You see both teams at center court, and the Bulldogs of Anniston also, you know, when you step on the court against them here, Gerhard, first thing you got to do, you got to get your mind right, because you're playing a team that's used to being here. They've won 3 of the last 4 county titles. And so the first thing for the Piedmont Lady Bulldogs is to make sure they're not intimidated in the early going of the game.
Last year's championship game ended 66-14 Anniston. A lot of times when the Anniston Lady Bulldogs walk on the court, everybody knows the tradition they bring.
And here we see the defensive pressure right away getting a steal, but a couple of missed shots inside for the Bulldogs by Clemens and Johnson. So here comes Piedmont in the front court. Shot from the right elbow is off the mark by Pinky Nation, and it's off of Piedmont out of bounds to Anniston. Pinky, a very interesting name. I talked to Coach Ridley today, and her first name is Teimekia.
Right.
So that's why they all just decided to go with Pinky, and I'm glad they did.
It's a lot easier to remember, that's for sure.
Inside, nice move by the Anniston post player. That is Tanaya Foster. And Gerhard, she is a handful inside. She's a very effective post player. And here we see a nice move, the bucket and the foul.
You saw a great shot there of her incredible footwork. Coach Eddie Bullock has been very impressed with her, very impressed with her maturity as well as her basketball acumen, and she's showing it right now.
Foster had 15 in Anniston's win over Weaver. And here comes that Bulldog pressure. That is something Piedmont is going to have to be able to handle if they're going to have a chance in this game tonight.
And especially with their young guards, to be able to get some confidence under their belt with good half-court sets, just getting the ball across the court. These small things can lead to big things for Piedmont.
Nice drive that time by the aforementioned Pinky Nation. And she takes it in for Piedmont's first bucket of the game, and we're going to have a travel here against Dudley. Just picked up her dribble and drug that pivot foot. The officials, by the way, from the Metro Association out of the Birmingham area. They were here last year officiating the county tournament, and they're back again this year. There's a trap and a steal. Johnson pushes. Oh, nice steal there for Piedmont as they got back defensively. Good job by Sydney Prater. Another drive on the baseline. Air ball by Nation this time. Good defense by Foster inside. Lady Bulldogs get it back down in a hurry, but stepping out of bounds is Montega Clemens. And this is the pace you expect to see when Eddie Bullock's Lady Bulldogs take the floor.
That's absolutely right. And even though they have some self-inflicted turnovers and costly mistakes here, they leave themselves a great margin of error because they play such fantastic defense.
2-2-1 zone full court press by Coach Bullock. Kirk now backs it out, trying to get it inside to Logan, but the pass is stolen. Here come the Bulldogs. Dudley, her pass a little too high. She was trying to connect with Clemens inside, so it is a turnover fest here early in this one.
And keep in mind, both these teams yesterday played at Oxford High School. So for Anniston, this is their first game here in this Calhoun County tournament in this gym because they had the double bye as the 1 seed.
And a steal by Montega Clemens. She'll pull up. Her shot is good. So Clemens doing that all on her own. She got the steal, pushed it up the floor, and hit the jump shot. 5-2 Bulldogs. Kirk shoots a three. Misses it. Rebound is chased down by Johnson. She gets it up ahead to Dudley. Here's a wide open three by Johnson, is left short, or Clemens, I should say. And we're going to have a blocking foul against the Bulldogs. That is Clemens' first foul of the game, so Piedmont will inbound at three-quarter court. Nice drive, shot off the mark, offensive rebound, put back no good by Clemens. So the basket have with a lid on it that time for the Lady Bulldogs of Piedmont. I tell you, already I'm impressed with the athleticism of this Piedmont team. They're getting after it defensively. Bulldogs miss it inside. Now Foster has it. Her shot is off the mark, and we're going to have a jump ball, and it will go to Piedmont.
And you can tell by the play down low, these referees are letting them play, and what it's showing is Piedmont's come to play, and they're being aggressive right back.
Again, first of 4 semifinal games tonight. Expect a packed house before things are done here at the Pete here on this Saturday evening. We will be live with you for all 4 games as well as the championship games on Monday night. That is a big bucket there. That time by Piedmont's Kaylee Kirk as she ties the game with her first triple of the game. Foster posted inside. Her shot rattles around and comes off. Piedmont limiting Anniston to 1 shot on that trip. Bulldogs push it up the floor. Nice dish and a foul on the Bulldogs as Piedmont beating Anniston down the floor that time, and Sydney Prater is going to find herself at the free throw line.
This is a great play here by Kirk. Just knocked down the three-pointer, makes the good pass, and then nothing left to do but foul for the Anniston Bulldogs. Piedmont here can take the lead.
Prater's first free throw is left short. Bulldogs send in substitute. That is number 33, Kiana Montgomery, a sophomore. And going to the bench will be junior Takaya Jackson. Second free throw by Prater is good. Prater comes into the game averaging 13 a night for Coach Ridley. Piedmont, their first lead of the game, 6-5. It was short-lived as the Bulldogs get a 3 out of freshman Alacia Dudley off the bench with some hot shooting here in this first quarter.
She was 6 for 8 from downtown yesterday. Unquestionably, the Anniston Bulldogs deep threat.
And I tell you, when you can come off the bench cold and hit your first 3, that's not easy to do. Good defense inside by the Bulldogs as they steal the entry pass. Foster is double teamed. She is so strong and powerful. Shot was left short. And again, Prater with the rebound. Bulldogs to Piedmont, limiting Anniston to 1 shot on that trip. That's a big part of this game we need to watch, is the offensive rebounding for Anniston. That's where Coach Ridley was concerned that her team could be hurt in this game.
Absolutely. Limit the second chance opportunities for Anniston, especially when they get the ball down low.
Nice defense, and Coach Ridley really happy with Caitlin Ridley's defense over there. Ridley, by the way, the niece of head coach Terrace Ridley. And we've got our first timeout of the game at 3:16 of the first quarter. Anniston with a 2-point lead, just underway. Semifinal night here at the Pete at the Calhoun County Tournament.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
And the Calhoun County Tournament on TV 24 is presented by RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center. Also by America's First Federal Credit Union and the Calhoun County Commission. Thanks for joining us. First semifinal game of the evening. Anniston and Piedmont. Top-seeded Bulldogs, 4th-seeded Piedmont going at it here early. Foster another shot inside. She's missed 3, Gerhardt, from close range.
Yeah, she didn't do this yesterday. There might be just some jitters of playing in this gym for the first time in really big, meaningful minutes here for the first time in her career.
Nice move in the lane, but interior defense just too strong as Nation's shot was blocked. Here comes Dudley. She'll try to finish the drive, and she is hacked on the way to the hoop by Piedmont's Caitlin Ridley, and I believe that'll be her first foul of the game.
It's just an aggressive move to the basket. Good job there by Dudley getting herself to the free throw line.
Looked like a lot of ball on that replay. Tough break there for the Piedmont defender. Dudley's first free throw is good. Her first points of the game. We've got another substitution. There you see, Coach Bullock loves to use that, what do you call that thing? What's he call it?
It's almost like I know it's a towel that's wrapped up, but it has an official name for it. But it's a great way to substitute, because at the same time you could tell there is clear communication if I have this person if you're in man-to-man defense.
We'll just call it the substitution baton. How about that?
I like it.
I don't see anyone else do that but the Anniston Lady Bulldogs.
Right.
I really haven't seen that anywhere else. Pass is going to sail out of bounds. To use a football term, it was intended for Zayla Walker. Knocked off a Bulldog defender, though, so Piedmont will get it back. Herc is open from the corner. Her 3 is off the mark. She had to rush it a bit. That closeout defense was coming in a hurry, and Anniston just throws it away, so back to Piedmont.
Yeah, 2 Anniston players right there, just over the head of both of them on that outlet pass. And you know Coach Eddie Bullock wants smarter passes. When you do get in transition, you do get in fast break situations.
We have played almost 6 minutes of the first quarter. Anniston with a 3-point lead. Oh, Piedmont had a player wide open, but a Bulldog player got their hands up, deflected the pass. Nice drive on the baseline, and the lay-in is good by Anniston's Montega Clemens, and that is her 4th point of the game. Piedmont with a chance to beat the pressure, and a layup on the other end. A foul, though, as Walker was fouled on the way up on the shot. Look at our camera guy, Tony Castaneda.
Just takes the hit.
Saver here. Look at there. Great job, Caveman.
Got the shot and saved her. Make sure she turned out okay. He's taken a lot of those hits over the years.
So here is Walker at the free throw line.
It's a good shot at the substitution baton we were just talking about.
by the way that foul was on Alacia Dudley, her first. Walker missed the first, tries again. Misses it long. Rebound taken by the Bulldogs. Anna Garrett. There's Caveman doing a little extra duty here early in this one. Acting as a, I guess, a buffer for the player there. And there is Kirk draining her second three of the game. Pulls Piedmont to within 2. Kirk is now 2 for 4 from behind the arc here in this first quarter. Another shot inside missed. The Bulldogs are very cold inside. They've had some good looks, Gerhard. They just can't get them to fall.
Right. If you look at the shot chart, there's a lot of misses right there and about 2 feet away from the basket.
I know they're going to call a charge here on Sydney Prater, but I really like the move to the basket there. But the downside, nice job there with the charge taken by Johnson. That is the second foul on Sydney Prater, the second leading scorer for Piedmont. So she's going to have to go to the bench at the 1:16 mark. And now Coach Ridley's going to have to manage that situation for the rest of the first half.
That's right. A really aggressive move there, but just a nice veteran move by Johnson to get the charge.
Garrett's shot no good, but a putback by Kiana Montgomery.
You mentioned it earlier.
Points.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier about the offensive rebounds. Another big one for Anniston.
How about Piedmont pushing it up the floor, getting a lay-in that time by Lily Ridley, Coach Ridley's daughter. She is just a 7th grader. Long-range three is off the mark, no good. Walker with the rebound, and she is going to be fouled over the back by Montega Clemens. And now Coach Bullock's going to have his first player with 2 fouls, and that'll get number 32, Takaya Jackson, off the bench. And Clemens will have to go take a seat here with 44 seconds left in the first quarter.
Anna Garrett also coming back off the floor. And Amoria Dudley coming back in.
Anniston extending that full court pressure, and it pays off right away as they get the steal. Nice little move there, but they're going to call traveling.
In the NBA, they like to call that a Euro step. High school basketball, you don't really have that. She did take that extra step there.
There is no traveling in the NBA, so whatever you want to call it, right? Look at Piedmont beat the pressure, but they throw it away when they get the ball down at the end of the court, and Anniston's Jordan Johnson called for traveling. Piedmont's done a pretty good job getting it across half court, but their turnovers are occurring when they're attacking the basket.
That's right, and you know that's something that Coach really wants to talk about when they get there together for at the end of the first quarter.
They lob it inside. Double team, so they kick it back out. Nice drive in the lane that time, and the shot falls for Caitlin Ridley.
That's good patient offense by Piedmont. Got the ball inside, didn't like the shot, took it back outside, and really did the rest.
Foster gets this one inside. So Foster has her second bucket of the game. Final seconds, and that'll take us to the end of the first quarter, but a good one. Piedmont hanging tough with a top seed at Anniston Bulldogs. It's a 2-point game here in the semifinal round of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament, live on TV 24.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Lynn Costner Auto Sales is celebrating their 20-year anniversary and says thank you, Northeast Alabama, for 20 years of great customers and community support. Over the past 20 years, Lynn Costner Auto Sales has established itself as one of the premier used vehicle dealers in the area. They take pride in doing business the right way and in taking care of their customers before and after the sale. Lynn Costner Auto Sales has a large selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. When you get ready to buy your next vehicle, stop by in person or visit the website at lyncostnerautosales.com.
And we're back at Pete Matthews Coliseum. So we continue now with our live coverage of our first semifinal game of the night. Anniston and Piedmont. Top-seeded Bulldogs, fourth-seeded Piedmont. Good first quarter. 15-13 Bulldogs with the lead. Foster misses another shot inside. Her putback is no good. Anniston just working that offensive glass. It is out of bounds, and it will stay with the Bulldogs.
And you mentioned it earlier about the offensive rebounds, how huge that is, especially in games like this with Anniston. You have to limit their second chance opportunities. And there they got 3 chances, and now the ball back.
Mentioned the offensive rebound, something Coach Ridley was concerned about. Bulldogs with their third opportunity here on this trip. Missed the shot. And rebound fought for, and a foul called inside against the Lady Bulldogs. I believe they've whistled the foul against Takaya Jackson, which will be the second Lady Bulldog player with 2 fouls. She joins her teammate Montega Clemens with 2.
Piedmont fortunate there. Anniston put the ball up 4 times on that trip, no points.
Kirk gets it ahead to Walker, and she is fouled. Nice look by Kirk, who had a big first quarter herself with those 2 threes. And here we see a look at the foul against the Bulldogs.
What's impressive about Kirk's game is she's not only a great shooter, which she demonstrated in that first quarter, but she's also a pretty observant passer.
And that is the 3rd missed free throw so far for Zayla Walker. She'll get another opportunity here. Chance to pull her team to within 1. Misses, so she's 0 for 4 from the line. Dudley gets it up the floor. And now she's got it back at the Bulldogs. Working against this Piedmont zone. Shot from outside is no good by Dudley. So Piedmont limiting the Bulldogs to 1 shot attempt there. Nice drive to the basket. Shot is missed, however, by Nation. Nation had a good look, couldn't get it to fall. Bulldogs fast break, and Dudley with the finish.
That's picture-perfect fast break basketball right there. 2 options. She took the one on the left-hand side. She went up and made the easy layup.
Back in the game with those 2 fouls is Sydney Prater. Nation step back 3, tough shot. Walker there has her shot blocked by Foster. So good interior defense by the Lady Bulldogs. They come down the floor looking to extend their 4-point lead, but Dudley's going to be called for traveling as she went to make a move.
Got a little too excited there.
I tell you, that's a move, though, that a shooter likes to make, that pump fake, go to the basket, and if that's something that the officials are going to call, obviously the players just simply have to adjust. Good job there by Piedmont, but they're going to say Walker left the floor and came back down, so a turnover. Piedmont's pushing the ball against this Bulldog defense. I'm impressed with we talked about the mental aspect of playing the Anniston Lady Bulldogs. They're not intimidated at all early going to this game.
Absolutely. That's something that's got to be impressive for Coach Ridley. Bunch of young girls, a lot of underclassmen on the court, hanging tough with a perennial power.
Dribbled off her foot that time, did Johnson. Anniston able to get it back. Bulldogs showing some patience offensively. Dudley open, misses the 3 badly. Trying to save it inbounds, but couldn't do so, was Takaya Jackson. So Piedmont gets it back. 5:42 left to play here in our first half. It is a 4-point Bulldog lead. Ahead to Kirk. She pulls up, has her shot blocked. And Anniston now with a 3-on-2 break. Dudley, nice little move, missed the shot. Offensive rebound in the putback, no good, but fouled is Takaya Jackson.
Really 2 good looks there. One really athletic move by Dudley, and great job there by Jackson. Just hanging tough with it, getting the offensive rebound, and now getting a chance for 2 points.
That is foul number 2 on Caitlin Ridley. Good look there at junior Takaya Jackson, and her first free throw is good. Checking in now, Anna Garrett for Coach Eddie Bullock, and going to the bench is Amoria Dudley.
One of the things that makes Anniston so special on defense is their length, and you see just the long arms of Jackson there. She's one of the players that can get into those passing lanes.
Misses her second, but look at the rebound for Anniston. Bulldogs with another chance with the basketball. Three-point shot from the top of the key is off the mark. Nice job by Nation chasing it down, and it is off the Bulldogs' Anna Garrett. So Piedmont will inbound. The winner of this one will advance to the girls' championship game on Monday night, right here at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Pushing it up the floor, the Bulldogs turn it over. So Piedmont will slow the pace now. These are kind of key moments in the game. Bulldogs down by 5. They've got to be able to avoid those double-digit deficits. That's what Coach really wants to see her team, keep that thing in single digits.
Absolutely.
And be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Anniston kind of attacks you like a python. They slowly just kind of suck the life out of you, especially with their defense. So far, Piedmont's hanging on strong. And we're seeing really good basketball in a lot of different ways for Piedmont. Aggressive on defense. They attack down low. Make sure they pass down there as well. So this is a turnover, and it'll be Piedmont basketball.
Ridley missed the front end of the 1-and-1, but they get it back, and they'll inbound down by 5. Nation has it. Pull-up jumper inside the free throw line is off the mark by Prater. And we've got a foul inside against the Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, Prater went in there, took the shot. She knew she wasn't going to make it. Follows the shot, gets her own rebound, and now has a chance for 2 on the free throw line.
Where she is 1 for 2 so far in the game. That foul against the Lady Bulldogs, Anna Garrett. First free throw is good. So Prater, who had 13 points in Piedmont's win over Alexandria at Oxford High School last night, she now has 2 points, both from the free throw line. Make it 3 as she is 2 for 2 on that trip. 3 for 4 so far in the game. It's a 3-point Bulldog lead. Dudley's back in. Checking out is Anna Garrett. And we've got a timeout on the floor. Timeout by Piedmont. Give us an opportunity to remind you that the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament on TV 24 is presented by the RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, by America's First Federal Credit Union, and by the Calhoun County Commission. Also coming up at the conclusion of each game, we will name our America's First Federal Credit Union Player of the Game. That player will receive a $25 gift card from America's First Federal Credit Union. Coming up next, Gerhardt will be our first boys semifinal game of the evening as Sacred Heart and Anniston will collide, and then the winner of that game will take on the winner of Oxford and Sachs. They play our final game tonight at 8:30.
Absolutely. Sacred Heart Anniston was the championship game 2 years ago. And Sacred Heart and Oxford was the championship game last year. All 3 of those teams are still alive. Sacred Heart, Anniston, and Oxford. You'll see them over the course of the night.
There's a good look at Coach Terrace Ridley in her 5th season as head coach at Piedmont, but she's been there longer than that. She coached 6 years in junior high at Piedmont High School, so does an outstanding job with this Piedmont program, and she's got her team right there.
Absolutely. Got a chance to talk to her last night at Oxford High School after their big win over Alexandria. She's really, really excited about this young ball player.
Dudley's 3-point shot is no good, but an offensive rebound and a putback, and that's where the Bulldogs kill you. Dudley with the putback, and that is her 7th point of the game. It's a 5-point Bulldog lead. Midway point of the second quarter. Nation takes it all the way, and no foul on the way to the basket. Bulldogs threw it away, and we're going to have a foul against Anniston. Is a nice job by Caitlin Ridley to hustle back and chase down the loose ball.
Yeah, Caitlin Ridley was really special yesterday in their win over Alexandria, and really showing in a lot of ways that sometimes don't really show up in the box score, but that one does. It's a great steal there, but she's really aggressive and almost sets the tone for this Piedmont basketball team.
We'll step aside for a timeout. It's Anniston leading Piedmont by 5 in girls semifinal action at the Calhoun County Tournament.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, three-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And there's a good look at Anniston Lady Bulldog head coach Eddie Bullock in his 13th season. Has established an outstanding girls basketball program and has won 3 of the last 4 county championships. And hitting the first free throw is Caitlin Ridley. And she makes them both. So Ridley now with 4 points here in the first half, pulls Piedmont to within 3. Foster quickly double teamed, back out to a wide open shooter who misses it, but there's the offensive rebound by Montega Clemens.
And this is exactly where Anniston does a lot of damage. Get the ball inside, double team, back out, offensive rebound, and score.
Kirk a little bit out of control that time and lost it. Bulldogs save it in and miss the shot in the lane. Anniston just so quick to the loose ball. Another shot missed inside. Foster with the rebound, so the Bulldogs getting multiple opportunities. And Foster will head to the free throw line.
And it's not always the offensive rebound. Sometimes it's just the 50-50 ball. And all the 50-50 balls are going Anniston's way. And when you just get this many opportunities at the basket, just by the law of averages, you have a much better chance as Anniston continues to struggle at the free throw line. You just have a better chance to score points. And unless you're shooting a really high percentage as a unit for the opposition, a lot of times these things can turn sour in a heartbeat.
First foul on Cameron Logan. And the free throw good for Foster. Loose ball, and it's a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing in Piedmont's direction. So the Lady Bulldogs of Piedmont will inbound at half court. Down by 6. Nation called for steps, and clearly these officials are going to be very strict about these pump fakes and taking off to the basket.
Yeah, you mentioned how that's a go-to move for a shooter, especially when you're already established as a shooter in a game and you know they're going to respect the shot. It's a good way to get the defender off of you, and if they're going to call that a travel, it makes you adjust.
Nice help defense that time by Ridley, but she couldn't control it, so Anniston will inbound. Alicia Dudley gets it into Dudley. Shot from the right wing is good. That time by Alicia Dudley, who having herself a good second quarter. She has 7 points in the quarter, 10 in the game. First player to reach double figures for either team. Bulldogs' largest lead of the game as well, as this lead has swelled to 9 points and looking for more. Trying to hit Foster on the break, but knocked out of bounds that time by Prater. So Bulldogs will inbound, and this is kind of a dangerous spot here for Coach Ridley's team.
Yeah, It's one of those things where you kind of feel it coming. You know it's coming. You just try to stave it off as much as possible.
Corner three that time by Dudley is no good. A heat check. She had just hit one from the other side of the floor. Ridley takes it all the way and misses the shot. Tough break for Ridley, but she got it back. And they're going to call a jump ball. Anniston gets it this time.
Good job by Ridley. And what we're seeing from Piedmont is when they take these shots, they're following their shots. Aggressive on the offensive rebound. That time Dudley ties it up and gets the jump ball.
Under 2 minutes now to play in our first half. Nice move in the lane. Shot is no good that time, though, for Clemens and the Bulldogs of Piedmont. Bring it up the floor. Pinky Nation. Prater has it. Pump fake. In the lane, gets the roll. Nice job there by Sydney Prater.
Yeah, it was really strong there by the junior Sydney Prater.
She has 4 points in the quarter, 5 in the game. Some contact down low, but no foul called as Dudley's shot was off the mark. So the Lady Bulldogs of Piedmont bring it up the floor, and we're going to have a foul here on the screen against Pinky Nation.
Yeah, Nation's intentions were good, but she just got in there and moved a little bit too much.
There you see, just a classic moving screen. If you've ever seen one, that's a moving screen.
Pretty easy call.
That's a hip check.
Yep.
Near 1 minute to play. Nice move inside as Montgomery puts it in. Her 4th point of the game. Back to a 9-point Anniston lead, matching their largest lead of the game so far. Ridley a little out of control. Montgomery blocked the shot, but look at Ridley hustle and get it back and drew the contact. Coach Bullock's unhappy because Ridley kind of ducked that shoulder, but they're going to call the foul against Kiana Montgomery.
And Montgomery did a good job defensively getting the ball, but then had a turnover, and Ridley's right there. And I'll tell you what, this team is filled with underclassmen. 7th graders, 8th graders, and juniors, but Ridley brings a lot of senior leadership to this ball club.
Once again, Caitlin Ridley, the niece of head coach Terrace Ridley. She is 3 for 4 from the line. 5 points in the game. Misses that free throw, so it remains an 8-point Anniston lead. Bulldogs could play for one if they choose. Near steal that time by Ridley. 24 seconds left here now.
Piedmont certainly making them earn it on this last shot.
They go inside to Foster. She's double teamed and she banks it in.
Great job there collecting her shot, not getting in a rush, puts the ball on the floor one time and puts the basket.
7 points here in the first half for Foster. It's a 10-point Bulldog lead, their largest of the half. Here's Kirk. Big shot here, but she misses it short. That would have been a big shot for Piedmont if they could have got it to fall, but instead the Bulldogs will take a double-digit lead into the locker room here in our girls semifinal matchup between Anniston and Piedmont. And standing by courtside now, let's send it over to Chase
All right,
Robinson.
Coach, down by 10 at halftime. Just your thoughts on the first half for your ladies.
I think we're doing a pretty good job of playing defensive-wise on Anniston. I told my girls, you know, let's not get in the running game with them, and I think they're executing that very well. We got a lot of shots that we're getting, but we're just not finishing that shot. But as far as Anniston's post players, they're pretty tough, and we're just not getting to the spots. But overall, I'm very pleased with how we're playing right now.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chase. And I think Coach Ridley summed it up pretty well. The Bulldogs outscoring Piedmont 14-7 in that second quarter, extending that lead to 10 points here at halftime. Coming up, it's the F&M three-point shootout. We'll have live coverage of that at halftime of each of our games tonight. We'll be back with that and much more as we continue with our live coverage of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament.
Time to get after it. So turn it on, crank it up, and let's get after it together. America's first small business services.
For great food and great service and a great atmosphere, come and see us at Top of the River in Anniston. At Top of the River, all of our products are prepared fresh daily with our own special recipes, including our farm-raised, grain-fed catfish. Large groups and private groups from 50 to 250 are welcome, and reservations are accepted 7 days a week. And ask about our full on-site catering, family-owned and operated since 1982, and always kid-friendly. Top of the River in Anniston.
My dad taught me to fish right here years ago. But when an old sports injury started slowing him down, I knew we'd need to search for the latest procedures in knee and hip replacement. With physical therapy tailored to his needs, a dedicated team of doctors and nurses, and he'd want a fast recovery time. So where'd he find all that?
Right here at RMC.
Lynn Costner Auto Sales is celebrating their 20-year anniversary and says thank you, Northeast Alabama, for 20 years of great customers and community support. Over the past 20 years, Lynn Costner Auto Sales has established itself as one of the premier used vehicle dealers in the area. They take pride in doing business the right way and in taking care of their customers before and after the sale. Lynn Costner Auto Sales has a large selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans. When you get ready to buy your next vehicle, stop by in person or visit the website at lyncostnerautosales.com.
It's time to get after it. So turn it on, crank it up, and let's get after it together. America's first small business services.
All right, we are back courtside at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathangani with you. We're at halftime of our first game of the evening. Girls semifinal action. It is Anniston leading Piedmont 30-20 here at halftime, and we are getting set for the F&M three-point shootout. We will have this at halftime of each of our games tonight. The player that has the most threes after we're done tonight, Gerhard, will have the opportunity to shoot a half-court shot on Monday night with a chance to win $10,000. So right now we've got the competition going on, and basically what you have is each school is pretty much sending their best three-point shooter.
Right.
And we've got this young man here. I don't think he's missed.
And you can't send basketball players to this thing, and that's evidenced by some of the players we have right here.
Yeah, these are real players here. These are basically the best boys and the best girls from each particular school. And when we're done with the competition, we will be able to show you who all competed. And here's a look at who is competing here in this first round. Devon Beeson of Sachs, Eric Johnson of Welborn, Walker Messer of JCA, Dalton Dodd of Alexandria, Lee Stanley of Piedmont, Malcolm Carlisle of Faith, Seth Ford of Donahoe, and Simeon Shadricks of Oxford. And again, we'll have 8 players next game at halftime. Then we'll have 7 at halftime of the third game, 7 at halftime of the fourth game. And again, the player that has the most threes there'll be just one person advance.
Right.
Not one boy, one girl, one.
Right.
Will have a chance at a $10,000 half-court shot on Monday night.
Some real stakes here. And if that last name on the graphic reminded you of anybody, Simeon Shadrick is your son. Did he get that three-point stroke from you? He's representing all of Oxford High School.
Of course, I'm going to say yes, but no, he got his three-point shot from his mom. I'll say that.
Nice. He's one at the three-point line right now, so he will go for the Oxford Yellow Jackets here on this.
I tell you, the young man who started off shooting really, I think probably out of this group has the most, but Simeon shooting now, and then we have a player on the other end shooting as well. So
he's found a little groove here. He's only missed one so far. Not sure how many total he's got, but
Gerhard, you jinxed him.
Found a nice little spot. Hey, you know, shooters, they get it right back. They get it right back.
Really appreciate F&M doing that this year. It's kind of reminds me of the football toss we had during Pigskin Roundup during football season, where we went out on Friday nights and had the competition each week. So F&M Bank, proud sponsor of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. Our coverage here on TV 24, as well as the three-point shootout and the opportunity for the half-court $10,000 shot on Monday night. So
this is a really cool way for F&M to kind of get into the sports world here. And as we heard the horn for that last grouping, we'll get the tallies here. We'll see if we can corral the numbers for you and see who's moving on from this group. We talked about it earlier. There's real stakes here. This is not, you know, just for, you know, just some small thing or school pride or bragging rights. It's 10 grand here on the line.
We're going to step aside for a break. We'll try to find out who came out of this group and with the most threes. And again, we'll have this at halftime of every game here tonight at the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament. The second half action between Anniston Piedmont girls is coming up. Stay with us.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, three-point home run, hat trick, pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up, and I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's offers fresh homemade hamburgers and hand-dipped ice cream shakes. Dad's utilizes the latest technology to ensure that your orders are always accurate and hot out of the kitchen. Family owned and operated since 1985, Dad's Barbecue, with 2 locations in Anniston to serve you.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
At Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford, we treat you like family.
Their appointments are always available. I never feel rushed or like I'm bothering them if I call, and Dr. Edmond is just always happy to see every patient.
It ain't like you going to some of these others, you go in there and don't know what doctor you're going to get to see. This is the doctor when you come, this is the man you will see.
I wouldn't go anywhere else. There's nobody else I trust.
Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford. One visit and you'll know you're a member of the family.
And welcome back inside the friendly confines of Pete Matthews Coliseum here on the friendliest campus in the South, Jacksonville State University, annual host of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament, widely recognized as one of the top county tournaments in the entire state. And hey, it's had its challenges this week thanks to the winter weather. We had 3 different cancellations to deal with this week, but we're kind of back on track, just 1 day behind. This is normally championship night. We've got our semifinal games tonight we'll have the boys and girls championship games for you on Monday night. Girls game will begin at 6, boys game at 8. We'll have live coverage here for you on TV 24, and we're here for you the rest of this night with all 4 semifinal games. Coming up after this one, our first boys semifinal game between Sacred Heart and Anniston. Then it'll be girls action, Oxford and Jacksonville. Then our final game tonight will be Oxford and Sachs. So Piedmont missing to begin the second half. Bulldogs throw it away. So back over to Piedmont. Gerhard, what's the Piedmont Lady Bulldogs got to do here to kind of keep within striking distance here down by 10?
I think one of the biggest things is limit the turnovers. That's number one on offense. And then defensively, you have to get rebounds and not let Anniston get second chance baskets. We talked a lot about that in the first half, but where they did well was when they were getting to the basket. Even that shot right there, it's not a bad shot. But when you're on defense, do not give Anniston second and third chance situations, because this game can get over with in a hurry.
For the second consecutive trip, Anniston throws it away, pushing it up the floor, trying to force it inside to Foster. They had a wide open shooter in the corner. Coach Bullitt would have preferred the pass go there. Instead, that's 2 turnovers in a row to start the second half. But can the Bulldogs of Piedmont take advantage? Prater drives, little contact, no whistle. So here come the Lady Bulldogs. This is Dudley from the three-point line, no good. Rebound by Clemens. Her shot from the baseline is off the mark, and Ridley controls. She gets it ahead to Pinky Nation. It's a 2-on-1 break. Nation takes it all the way and lays it in.
It's a good job there by Pinky Nation. Had a chance to make the pass, but she thought better, played the defense as it was, and gets the first points of the quarter for Piedmont.
Inside to Foster. Her shot is off the mark. Got her own rebound. Look at her muscle it in there. A lot of contact. They're letting them play here to start the third quarter. And a 3-second violation called against Bulldogs.
Yeah, Foster hung down there a little bit too long. You don't see that called very often in high school basketball. Most teams do it. Got the final tally from our halftime shootout, and Simeon Shadricks comes away with the winner. 16 three-pointers. He was on fire there from the top of the key, so he'll represent the Oxford Yellow Jackets as the participant going for the 10 grand.
And a double dribble called against the Lady Bulldogs. So they're a very rocky start here to the second half for Coach Bullock's team. A slew of turnovers here. Piedmont gets it ahead to Kirk. Her pull-up shot is no good, but a rebound inside. Oh, a tough break. Lady Bulldogs, they've got to capitalize on those shots, but Cameron Logan missed it. Little Euro step. Shot no good by Dudley. It's out of bounds. And it'll go back over to Piedmont.
Both teams really have a lot of possessions that they want back. Piedmont, just a second ago, got the offensive rebound. The shot that they wanted just didn't fall. Same thing for Anniston. No points still for the Bulldogs in this half, and just one for the Piedmont Bulldogs. None for the Anniston Bulldogs, I should say. And really a rocky start. Both teams took all 10 minutes of halftime. Really no warm-ups there in the second half.
That is a big bucket from Kirk. She had 2 threes in the first quarter. That's her third tray of the night. She's got 9 points, pulls Piedmont to within 5. This is exactly the kind of start that Coach Ridley wanted to see from her team. And another turnover here by the Bulldogs. Montega Clemens called for traveling on the baseline.
Anniston can really shoot themselves in the foot with this Piedmont team, especially if they can continue hitting three-point shots like Kirk just did.
Nice stride by Prater. How about this run to begin the second half? And Coach Bullock's going to call a timeout. Piedmont coming out of the locker room on a 7-0 run here to pull to within 3 at 5:09 as we get another look at the play by Prater. And Gerhard, we talked about the fact that several times they've kind of hit her at the top of the key, and she's put the ball on the floor and attacked the basket, but she hasn't been able to finish, but she did that time.
Right, and one of the things that Coach Ridley told Chase on the way out was they have to make sure that they make those, they convert those easy baskets whenever they do have them, and they're doing a good job. And this is a good shot of a very, very good coach, and Piedmont's a young basketball team. We talk about Kirk being a 7th grader. We talk about the juniors and seniors they have, or the juniors and sophomores they have on this basketball team. Pinky Nation, an 8th grader. And this is a very young squad. It should be good for a long time to come.
Coach Bullock, look of concern on his face as he's seen his 10-point halftime lead evaporate quickly down to 3. Bulldogs with it now, though. Amaria Dudley walking it up, and a near steal by Ridley. Anticipating the pass.
We'll put some things into context here. You saw Coach Eddie Bullock biting his fingernails, talk about a little bit of nervousness. They were up 40-9 last night at halftime, so a much different situation here in the third quarter.
Foster missed it inside, and maybe a frustration foul here against the Bulldogs. A couple of players in the neighborhood, but they're going to get the foul called against Jackson. That is her third. So here's the full court pressure by the Bulldogs. Pinky Nation gets it across half court. Again, Piedmont has been able to beat the press. Their turnovers have been in the front court. They don't push it here. They set up their offense. Ridley, a tough physical move, and she banks it in.
And your Piedmont, this is exactly the way you want to play the second half. Really aggressive, taking good, strong shots, open shots, and playing strong defense.
Foster should have just shot that. She tried to throw it over to Montgomery, and it pass sails out of bounds. So another Anniston turnover. Substitution, Kiana Montgomery coming into the game now, and Takaya Jackson goes out. Again, the Piedmont run is at 9-0 right now. They've cut a 10-point halftime deficit down to 1 point, 30-29, and we're near the halfway point of the fourth quarter. Anniston hasn't scored yet in this quarter.
Yeah, one of the things we mentioned was if the first half of this third quarter is really big for Piedmont, not let that lead swell, and they've done the complete opposite, and a chance here to take the lead.
Prater goes up, shot is blocked. Good defense inside that time by Kiana Montgomery. Kept her arms up, blocked the shot, did not get a foul called. See if that ignites the Bulldogs a little bit. Drive in the lane. Oh, tough break. Dudley missed it, but the offensive putback by Montgomery is no good. So this, the basket's just got a lid on it for the Bulldogs right now. And Kirk fouled in the backcourt by Amaria Dudley, and that's going to be her first foul of the game.
There's no telling how many times the ball has hit every angle of that rim for the Anniston Bulldogs and just has not gone in. As we take another timeout here.
That'll be our media timeout here in the third quarter. We have got a good one brewing here in our first semifinal game of the night. The Anniston Lady Bulldogs clinging to a 1-point lead over Piedmont.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
And back live at Pete Matthews Coliseum. 3:44 to play in our third quarter. Piedmont inbounding. Down by 1. The Lady Bulldogs of Piedmont on a 9-0 run to begin this second half. Pinky Nation has her shot blocked by Kiana Montgomery, who's playing some great defense here in this third quarter for Anniston. Foster, they wave it off, going to call her for traveling.
Good job there on the fast break by Anniston, but we've seen this a couple of times. Just get the ball down low and your feet move before the ball does, and that's a travel every time.
Ahead it goes to Kirk. Here is Prater. Oh, she should have just shot the ball, and a little bit too unselfish trying to get it to her teammate, Zayla Walker. We saw Foster do this on the other end for Anniston a moment ago.
That's right, but for Piedmont, just continue pressing, continue getting the ball down low in the post. You see they set up here on this inbounds play.
And it goes to Prater. She shoots it this time. She misses. Rebound that time for Jordan Johnson. Bulldogs push it. Three-point shot is good. And finally the Bulldogs break through. Alicia Dudley.
You knew that they would need one shot to really get them through. And if you were going to ask one person to do it, it's definitely Dudley. She made 6 of them yesterday. And to have another turnover here by the Piedmont Bulldogs. She made 6 3-pointers yesterday. She's already got 3 this afternoon. But Dudley could provide the spark for the Bulldogs.
She is the leading scorer for Anniston with 13 points, and that is exactly what the Bulldogs needed. They had gone scoreless till that 3 by Alicia Dudley, the 9th grader. Drive inside the lane. Shot is no good by Johnson. Got her own rebound, and she's fouled. So Anniston Bulldogs with a little momentum on their side now.
And you could just tell by the way Anniston's playing, they like this competition. They like the fact that they are really in a good, tough game. And for Coach Eddie Bullock and his squad, this is what they'll face in playoff competition. We know that the Anniston Bulldogs have a lot of tradition. They've won this championship plenty of times, but they use this really as a stepping stone for the regionals and trying to get back to Birmingham, a place they're familiar with, and getting that state championship.
7th grader Lily Ridley comes in. Johnson missing the first free throw. And she makes the second. So full court press here by the Bulldogs. Pinky Nation dishes it off to Ridley. Ridley gets it across half court. Oh, and she had a teammate wide open inside, but overthrew Lily Ridley. So a turnover by the Bulldogs. Again, you and I have talked about this all night. Piedmont has been able to get it across half court. Their turnovers have been in the front court when they've been attacking.
Right, they just throw it a little bit too high or too low. Just can't really get on the same page. And probably some of that is trying to account for Anniston's long reach.
Bulldogs attacking the line again. That is Jordan Johnson. And so Anniston finally breaking through offensively. Their lead is back to 7. Piedmont had cut it to 1, but the Bulldogs answered with a 6-0 run of their own. Inside, a lot of contact, no whistle. But getting it to fall is Lily Ridley, the 7th grader. That is Coach Ridley's daughter, and makes it a 5-point Anniston lead. Dudley's 3. Well, she has been money tonight, Gerhard.
Continuing that hot streak from yesterday. She has 10 3-pointers when you count yesterday's action and today's action. So
I would expect her to be shooting here later tonight in the F&M 3-point shootout.
Absolutely. Just a 9th grader is Dudley for the Anniston Bulldogs. Her father actually came before the game, came down and spoke with us here down at the media table, and he's really excited about her game, and he should be.
And she is shooting.
That's right.
Time of the next game.
Anniston putting the hot hand on that free throw line. She's kind of getting a chance to practice before that.
And a steal here by Piedmont as we go down to a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Kirk, a long-range 3. That was NBA range. This is Dudley. Lost it, got it back, and throws it off a Piedmont defender. So the Bulldogs will inbound underneath their own basket. They kind of fought off this rally here by Piedmont and have got the lead back up to 8 points with a chance to extend it here. Inbound play to Dudley. And she trains another one. She is 3 for 3 from behind the arc in this quarter alone, and she has 5 threes in the game.
Almost matching her efforts from yesterday. Just a fantastic shooter for the Anniston Bulldogs. They have a foul here on, looks like on Anniston. Well, a pushing foul that is on Clements.
She has 23 points in the game, and she has shot her team right back in control of this one. It is now an 11-point Anniston lead, and just a few moments ago they were only up by 1. Piedmont to inbound now. Ridley. Back over to Nation. Ridley drives. He's double teamed, and they're going to call a travel. And again, that was great defense by Kiana Montgomery coming over, getting in the way of Ridley and forcing the travel. So Anniston gets it back with 19.9 seconds left here in the third.
Just a really sound defensive team, really all the way around for the Anniston Bulldogs, and they know when to double team. They went down there, did their job just right, and forced a turnover.
So the Bulldogs with a chance for one final shot of the quarter. A wild and wacky third quarter here.
If I'm the Anniston Bulldogs, I think I'm going back to number 3.
Dudley, shot is no good. Pinky Nation's got it. 4 seconds. Gets it ahead. Half court heave is off the mark by Kiera Jackson, and that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. Started off with a great run by Piedmont, but then that run was answered by 9th grade Alicia Dudley. Here we see her as we go to break. She got red hot. 3 triples in the quarter, 23 overall. Anniston back in charge of this semifinal game, leading Piedmont 42-31.
I got back my Smack Talk touchdown hole-in-one 3-point home run, hat trick pavement pounding record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up, and I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
And we're back at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Mickey Shadricks, Gerhard Mathangani, and Chase Robinson with you on the call of our first semifinal game of the night. Piedmont started off that second half with a 9-0 run. They pulled to within 30-29 of Anniston, but then the Lady Bulldogs went on a huge run thanks to the shooting of Alicia Dudley, who has 19 points. I said she had 23. She actually has 19. But as Gerhard told me, she'll get to 23 before it's all said and done. Bulldogs start the fourth quarter with an 11-point lead, and they start off with a 3 here by Amaria Dudley. So Anniston now heating up from the perimeter.
Started off the quarter really cold and ended it really hot. Just really an up and down kind of quarter, really looking to close this thing out here.
Prater has her shot blocked again by Montgomery. What great defense for her tonight. And she blocks another shot. Kiana Montgomery, the sophomore, has just played outstanding defense inside tonight for Coach Eddie Bullock.
He just uses those long arms, gets out of the way, doesn't use her body whatsoever.
Nice backdoor cut by Dudley, but she missed the shot. And a foul against Piedmont, so Anniston will maintain possession. By the way, the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament on TV 24 is presented by RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center, America's First Federal Credit Union, and the Calhoun County Commission. Montgomery gets in on the action on the offensive end, and hey, why not? She's been such a factor defensively. They give her the ball on the offensive end. She just picked up her 6th point of the game.
Yeah, you got to reward her when she plays well, and she's doing it so far for the Anniston Bulldogs on both sides of the floor.
And Nation throws it in the backcourt, so it'll be a turnover by Piedmont. Coach Bullock really coaching hard over there on the Anniston sideline. Doesn't want to see his Lady Bulldogs have a letdown now after they've gotten this lead up to 16 points. Montgomery duck that shoulder, they're going to call her for an offensive foul.
Yeah, use the forearm to create the separation, and he can't do that. And she's smiling. She understands that was the call there. She's a really great finesse player, and yeah, you could see it really easily. Uses the forearm to create the separation. They won't allow that. Solid post player and an excellent defender for the Lady Bulldogs.
Ridley to Ridley. Inside to Prater. Prater goes up against Foster. I tell you, there was some contact there, no whistle. Letting them play in the lane. Here is Dudley, top of the key, and she hits it. That is her second three of the fourth quarter. She has 7 points. It is now a 19-point Anniston lead, largest of the game. And Piedmont calls a timeout to kind of slow this Bulldog momentum. Here's another look at the shot by Dudley. 2 in a row from that same spot here in this fourth quarter.
Between the two Dudleys, between Alasha and Amoria, it's 5 3-pointers for the quarter, or 5 3-pointers for the second half, and 8 for the game.
The two Dudleys have been deadly.
This has been a fun one to watch because you're seeing the growth and the maturation of a very young Piedmont team. Very confident, but coming in and making a lot of mistakes that you would expect young teams to make. And then the seasoned veteran team and the Anniston Bulldogs, who've been here before, who've done it, who've hoisted this trophy up several occasions, used this as a platform for their next level. Up 40-9 yesterday at halftime. They have to work a lot more in this time around, and really playing against the elements, having to play their first game of the Calhoun County tournament at Oxford High School yesterday. Their first action at Pete Matthews Coliseum here in this part of the tournament, here coming in the semifinals, and playing like a veteran team would. Had some spurts early on, had some downfalls about early part of the third quarter, and really start to collect themselves as we head towards the home stretch of this one.
You know, Anniston only has 3 losses on the season to Ramsey, Scottsboro, and Jackson Olin. So this Bulldog team looking postseason ready. Here the way they're playing in this one. Dudley against Prater, lays it in. She's having a fantastic fourth quarter. She's got 8 points here in the fourth quarter. It is a 21-point Anniston lead. Bulldogs in control of this one now. And amazing to think, just really, what, 6 minutes ago, this was a 1-point game.
Right, and they had a 10-point lead, cut it down to 1, and that's the way this pendulum is swung.
Good job by Ridley on the steal. She has it taken from behind by the 9th grader, Dudley. Dudley is fouled on her way to the basket, so she will shoot free throws.
The third quarter belonging to one Dudley, and this fourth quarter belonging to the other. 2 3-pointers. Got the field goal earlier, and now a chance at 2 more points at the free throw line with this big lead and looking to stretch it out even more as Anniston now calls a full timeout.
.507 left in the fourth quarter. Timeout on the floor. 21-point Anniston lead. And, you know, you talk about the fact that Piedmont has really made Anniston work. They've made Anniston earn it. And it appears as though when people look at this final score, they're going to think this was a blowout game. And that really wasn't the case. This was a 1-point game late in the third quarter. You know, talking to Coach Ridley at Piedmont earlier today, and she said, you know, this is a great test for us because we hope, just like every other team, to get as far as they can in the postseason. Piedmont plays in Area 10. They've already wrapped up the 2nd seed in Area 10 with Glencoe as the top seed. So they're headed to the next round when we get to that point, which is just around the corner in February. So this has been a great test for her team, and she was, as she told me earlier today, you know, they won't play anybody any better than who they're playing right now. And despite what the score may indicate when all is said and done, Piedmont, for most of this game, has represented themselves very well against not only a good Anniston team, but an outstanding Anniston defensive team that has just lit it up offensively.
That's right, and Weaver was held yesterday to just 25 points, and you know Piedmont's already have 31 at this point in time. But this is a team that, whether they're in 4A or 5A, they've bounced around. Anniston has over the last few years, but they continuously find themselves in Birmingham in the Final Four. And so for this 3A Piedmont squad, it's a very young squad. This is a great, great test. They won't walk away with this one, but they'll walk away with a whole lot of confidence moving forward as they go in, like I said, into area play, in the area tournament, and then hopefully a berth and a strong run in the regionals.
Shot off the mark for Nation. By the way, Amaria Dudley with those 2 free throws now has 10 points in this 4th quarter. And Alicia Dudley now has 21 in the game as she lays it in, makes it a 56-31 Anniston lead.
I think the key here for Piedmont is just to continue to play. That's a great shot there by Prater, and kind of lends to what the point I was going to make. The thing for Piedmont here is, you know, this ball game still has 4 minutes and some change to go. Just continue to play strong basketball and give yourselves something to look forward to as you close out the month of January.
Inside to Montgomery. Turnaround jump shot is off the mark. Rebound by Ridley, and she is fouled. Or no, they're going to call Ridley for the offensive foul. I think they're going to say she threw an elbow.
Yeah, I think so. And it wasn't really in the viewpoint. There were some bodies in the way there. I couldn't really see it. You'll have a look here on the replay to see if she created separation from Dudley, and she does. And that might be a little bit of frustration there. It's kind of unnecessary.
Good call by the official. Anniston tried to get it to Foster on the inbound play, but Piedmont came away with it, and Ridley takes it the distance, misses the layup. Jackson there with the rebound. Johnson, I should say, for Anniston, needs some help. And going to call a timeout on the floor. And that'll be our 4th quarter media break. 3:52 to play in this one. Bulldogs in command, 56-30.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
And we're back inside Pete Matthews Coliseum. Sacred Heart getting ready to take on the Anniston Bulldogs in our first boys semifinal. Coming up next, there's the Sacred Heart mascot, the Sacred Heart cheerleaders. Got some good basketball ahead tonight.
That's absolutely right. Sacred Heart, your 3-time defending 1A state champion. However, they've lost the last 2 Calhoun County tournament championships. So you know they want to bring that thing home.
Lost to Anniston and then lost to Oxford last year. Of course, Sacred Heart, the top seed on the boys' side. Oxford, the 2nd seed. Oxford will play Sachs in our final game tonight. Sachs Wildcats upset 3rd seeded Alexandria last night, 61-58. And then coming up at 7 tonight, our 2nd girls semifinal game between Oxford and Jacksonville. The winner of that game will play the winner of this game for the girls county championship. And it's looking a lot like it's going to be the Lady Bulldogs of Anniston.
That's absolutely right. Anniston and Jacksonville, we've seen them have a very, very contentious, I wouldn't necessarily say contentious in the sense of violent or angry, but very, very heated, spirited rivalry between those two. The Oxford Yellow Jackets as well. They've come on strong over the last few years. Played for the county championship just a couple of years ago. That should be a great one in the other girls semifinal for the chance to play Monday night.
Coming up after the game, we'll have a word with the winning coach as well as our America's First Player of the Game, which right now it's looking a lot like Alicia Dudley. I don't think it's any secret who we would be leaning to for that award. Dudley with a nice dish to Montgomery, who lays it in.
That was perfect all the way around. We saw Amarie Dudley just tip it out to Alicia Dudley. She gets it to Montgomery, and that's great team basketball from defense to offense.
You know, Amarie Dudley's had a great fourth quarter. She's a good candidate. Kiana Montgomery off the bench with some outstanding defense. But I tell you, the work of Alicia Dudley, the ninth grader, has been really the spark for this Anniston team tonight.
Absolutely. Came through with baskets that they needed. Not only timely baskets, but really smart shots. And she took what the defense gave her.
Game's leading scorer with 21. Anniston now just trying to work the clock now and get this game over with. Crowd continues to file in here at the Pete. I think a good crowd we're going to have before the night is over here.
That's absolutely right. I have a lot of great fans, great matchups, all setting up for what should be a fun Monday night.
Piedmont getting real aggressive. Pinky Nation a little hit on the arm there and a foul called. Kiera Jackson comes into the game for Piedmont, and going to the bench is Caitlin Ridley. So Anniston inbounds. Maria Dudley, and she is fouled. So I guess Coach Ridley's going to force free throws down by 24.
And I understand the point of trying to be aggressive the whole way through and never giving up. It's a great lesson moving forward there. But for Anniston, they'll close it out on the free throw line. It's a great chance for Anniston to get some of these free throws in late game situations. I know it's not a close game, but these things become vitally important come playoff time, is making those free throws down the stretch. When you're tired, when you really don't want to.
And Dudley makes the first. And again, what a fourth quarter this young lady has had. Has 11 points in the quarter.
She had 1 point in the first quarter, hadn't scored since. And so saw Dudley coming off the bench. Oh, Alicia Dudley coming off the bench. And Amarie Dudley doing most of her damage here in the fourth.
Ridley now back in the game, controls, guarded by Dudley. Over to Kirk, in the corner to Prater. Prater drives, nice dish to Ridley, who lays it in.
Good team basketball right there in the half court for the Piedmont Bulldogs.
.24 Anniston lead. Bulldogs again using the clock. Kirk comes up and fouls. Stops the clock with 58.2 seconds. That will send Amarie Dudley. Good look at the senior. Back to the free throw line. Has 12 points in the quarter, 13 overall. Chance to add to her point totals here. She misses the free throw. So Pinky Nation gets it ahead to Ridley. Prater couldn't control it. It is loose and controlled by the Bulldogs. Garrett lost it. Dudley's got it. And another foul, and I think it might be time to call off the fouls here and just let this game ride out here. But Dudley's going to be back at the free throw line again as we see the foul called against Kirk.
Easy foul call there, and Anniston sending some of the reserve players to the check-in line. Dudley misses the first of two.
And hits the second. she now has 14 points, and she will check out and get a nice hug from her head coach, Eddie Bullock. 39.9 seconds remaining as Coach Bullock gets some new young ladies into the game to finish things out here. Shot from the baseline is no good. Rebound to Prater. Here comes Pinky Nation. Drives the lane. Lost it. And this is Williams. She lost it on the way to the basket. So here comes Pinky Nation back down the court. Prater's three-point shot is no good. Ridley has it. Over to Nation. She drives. Her shot is off the rim, no good. Bulldogs will just dribble it out. And that'll be your final score. The Anniston Lady Bulldogs defeat the Piedmont Lady Bulldogs 61-36. And as we said, this score not indicative of all how close this game was for just about 3 quarters. But the Lady Bulldogs showing why they have won 3 of the last 4 county championships, the way they answered the challenge from Piedmont here in the second half, thanks in large part to the play of Alicia Dudley offensively and Kiana Montgomery off the bench defensively.
And both those players coming off the bench, you see a nice moment there by Coach Eddie Bullock and Coach Ridley. Had to be proud of the way both teams represented themselves, and there's a lot of positives moving forward for Anniston, obviously playing for another county championship, and will be in the mix there for a state championship as well, and also for the Piedmont Bulldogs. This is a longer than usual, post-game talk between coaches, and there's a lot of mutual respect there for both Coach Dudley or Coach Ridley and Coach Bullock.
And there you see Coach Bullock, who we were hoping to get a word with, but instead we've got our America's First Player of the Game award coming up. And we apologize for the delay here. The first boys semifinal game. Both teams warming up here. The Sacred Heart Cardinals and the Anniston Bulldogs. We'll send it over to Chase Robinson.
And here with our America's First Federal Credit Union Player of the Game, Alicia Dudley. First of all, congratulations. You get a $25 Visa gift card for being our Player of the Game. But just talk about this game for your team. Piedmont made a comeback there in the third quarter, but y'all really fought. You stayed in this game and you got the win. Talk about that win for you and your team.
The win felt good. We knew we had to step up in order to beat this team. Coach always talking about, like, we got to defend the shooter, and we couldn't do it without each other. We had to play as a team and come together as a team, and that's how we got the win.
Championship game Monday night. You'll await the winner of the next girls game. You got a couple of days to get ready for that game. Talk about playing in the championship Monday night.
We know, well, for me and for the team, I believe that we just got to work hard and just do what we got to do. We got to do what we got to do in practice, what we do in practice, and like we do what we do, we're going to win.
All right, well, congratulations tonight and good luck Monday night.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chase, and congratulations to Alicia Dudley, our America's First Player of the Game. Boy, she's well-spoken for a ninth grader, isn't she?
I was about to say, as a freshman, you never know how these things are going to go, but she represented herself well.
And she is $25 richer tonight after her play, getting the America's First $25 gift certificate as our Player of the Game. Gerhard and I will come back in a moment and wrap this one up and get set for the first boys semifinal game as we continue with our live coverage of the Calhoun County Basketball Tournament presented by RMC Orthopedic and Joint Center.
I got back my smack talk touchdown hole-in-one 3-point home run, hat trick pavement pounding record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm going to get back to doing what I love. I'm going to get back to winning.
In Alabama, school spirit is in the air on Friday nights. At Farmers and Merchants Bank, we're giving our customers the opportunity to show their school spirit every day with our new Spirit debit card. We've designed a unique card for every Calhoun County school that includes the school's logo. So every time you use the card, you're showing your school spirit. Come in and get your school spirit debit card today. We've got spirit at F&M Bank. Service, solutions, and strength. Member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The Calhoun County Commission, made up of J.D. Hess, Tim Hodges, Fred Wilson, Don Hudson, and Lee Patterson, ask you to take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. With our beautiful parks, neighborhoods, recreational facilities, historic sites, and museums, our citizens enjoy a high quality of life and strongly supports the arts. If you're considering expanding or starting a new business, take a look at what Calhoun County has to offer. You'll be glad you did.
I'll just be a minute.
What you just did with that clutch was so clutch. Just like when you ditched your old credit card and got the America's First credit card with a low interest rate and cash back on purchases.
And we are back courtside at Pete Matthews Coliseum. Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathangani putting a wrap on our first girls semifinal game, won by the Anniston Lady Bulldogs 61-36 as the top seed advances to the county championship game on Monday night against the winner of the Oxford-Jacksonville girls game that's coming up a little bit later on. First boys semifinal game is coming up next, but Gerhard, your final thoughts on Anniston's win over Piedmont?
Really, you saw a little bit of everything. You saw great, fantastic defense, but then you saw a lull there in the early part of the third quarter. Didn't get a basket off, didn't get a shot until about midpoint of the third quarter, and then Dudley gets hot, our player of the game. And one of the reasons why she was player of the game, not just because she stuffed the scoreboard or stuffed her stat sheet and the scoreboard, but what she ended up doing was providing the spark that really led to this thing being a blowout. You talked about how the final score, not indicative of the way the game played out. She was a large part of that.
You know, again, we've mentioned it. It was a one-point game late in that third quarter. Piedmont started off that second half with a 9-0 run, and then the Bulldogs had the answer.
Absolutely. And then you saw people like Ridley as well as Kirk. A lot of positives for Piedmont moving forward, but the Anniston Bulldogs do what they always do on this court. And really, we can't talk about it enough. Getting experience on this court is really strong. Both these teams played at Oxford High School yesterday, so getting back here at Pete Matthews Coliseum was a benefit for both teams, and especially for Anniston, who moves on to tomorrow's championship.
Once again, Anniston will play the winner of Oxford and Jacksonville on Monday night. Meanwhile, Piedmont, their run at the county tournament ends. Their next game is Monday night against Welborn. They actually have a game on Tuesday as well against Clay Central. That'll wrap up our coverage of our first girls semifinal game, but stay tuned. Coming up next live right here on TV 24, Chase Robinson and John Holder will have the call for you of our first boys semifinal game between Sacred Heart and Anniston as our live coverage of the county tournament continues right here on TV 24.